when two broken hearts found home. Ayan had always lived quietly in the city, fixing broken machines in his shop. But deep inside he carried a gentleness no one noticed. Every day he watched people rushing through their lives, wondering if anyone ever paused to feel the weight inside their own hearts. He often worked late, letting the yellow streetlight be his only company. Life wasn't cruel to him, but it wasn't to Kint. It simply moved, without asking if he could keep up. One cold evening, as he prepared to close the shop, a soft knock on the glass door startled him. A girl stood outside, shivering slightly as snowflakes melted on her hair. Her eyes carried the kind of exhaustion that comes from running too long from something painful. Ayan opened the door immediately and invited her inside. She stepped in like someone who had forgotten what warmth felt like. She introduced herself as Eliah, her voice trembling just enough to reveal the loneliness she tried to hide. She said she had just moved to the city, searching for a fresh start far from memories that had become too heavy. Ayan offered her tea without asking questions, sensing that she needed comfort more than conversation. She thanked him quietly, wrapping her hands around the warm cup. Eliah smiled once, a small smile that looked like it lived under layers of sadness. Ayan noticed it, like a rare sunrise, breaking through winter clouds. When she finally left, he walked her halfway to ensure she reached home safely. She kept glancing back as if amazed that a stranger cared days past, and Eliah returned again, this time carrying a small jar of soup she had cooked. She said she didn't want Ayan skipping meals while working long hours. Ayan felt warmth fill his chest, surprised that someone had thought of him. She sat on a stool in the corner while he repaired an old radio, watching him with quiet curiosity. Their conversations grew fuller, richer, softer. Without trying, they had become a part of each other's evenings. Eliah visited almost every day now, sometimes with stories, sometimes with silence. Ayan learned she loved old music, hated thunderstorms, and found comfort in small bookstores. She learned that he had big dreams but no time to chase them. The air between them felt light, gentle, familiar, like two people unknowingly weaving a home in each other. It wasn't love yet, but it was something that leaned in that direction. One night she arrived with trembling hands and eyes that held fear like a trapped bird. Someone from her past had found her address a person who once controlled her life with manipulation and anger. Ayan's expressions softened instantly, understanding more than she said. She didn't want to burden him, but she had no one else to run to. He offered her a chair and a glass of water, waiting for her breathing to calm. Ayan told her she didn't have to explain anything she didn't want to. "You're safe here," he said gently, and something in her broke. Tears slid down her cheeks, quiet but unstoppable. Ayan didn't touch her. He simply sat beside her, giving her silence to cry into. She leaned toward him, not seeking comfort but finding it naturally. In that moment, Ayan realized he cared for her more deeply than he ever expected. From that night, Ayan walked Eliah home every evening, making sure she felt protected. He taught her small tricks for self-defense, and helped her install a stronger lock on her apartment door. Eliah watched him quietly, wondering how someone could give so much without expecting anything back. She began trusting him not because he was strong, but because he was gentle. Gentle people were rare in her world. Their bond grew in small moments, cooking dinner together, sharing laughter, repairing broken clocks, wandering through quiet streets. Ayan discovered she loved stars but never had time to look at them. Eliah learned that Ayan loved helping others, even when he was tired. Together, they filled the empty spaces inside each other without even trying. Their hearts weren't rushing. They were learning to breathe side by side. One rainy night, Eliah's past returned once again, this time in person. The man who once controlled her stood outside her building, shouting her name angrily. Fear wrapped around her like a cold blanket, and she called Ayan with shaking fingers. Within minutes he arrived, stepping between her and the man with calm courage. He didn't shout or fight. He simply sighed, "She's not going anywhere with you." His voice carried a strength. He didn't take no. Ayad, the man eventually left, furious but powerless, leaving Eliah in tears. She sank to the ground, repeating that she wasn't strong enough to handle her life. Ayan knelt in front of her, telling her she didn't need to be perfect to be worthy of peace. "Strength is healing every time you break," he whispered. She cried into his shoulder, allowing herself to fall apart safely for the first time in years. Weeks passed, and Eliah slowly regained her confidence. She found a new job, decorated her tiny apartment, and even started cooking more meals for them to share. Ayan fixed anything. She broke lamps, clocks, radios, joking that she broke things on purpose just to see him. She laughed more often now, the laughter reaching her eyes. Their connection deepened into something undeniable. They began spending weekends exploring the city bookstores, riversides, old markets, and quiet parks. Sometimes they sat beside the river for hours, letting the silence between them speak. Eliah felt safe in a way she hadn't believed possible. Ayan felt seen in a way he never had before. He didn't confess his feelings yet. He wanted her to heal without pressure. Love didn't need to be rushed. A year after they first met, the Lantern Festival returned. They walked to the glowing lake where hundreds of lanterns floated like small moons. Eliah held her lantern tightly, her eyes reflecting golden light. "Last year," she whispered, "I wished for a safe place. I didn't know the universe would send me you." Ayan felt his heart swell painfully at her words. He finally spoke the truth he had held inside for months. "Eliah, I love you. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. Because your broken pieces shine brighter than most people's whole hearts." Eliah stepped closer, tears gathering in her lashes. She touched his cheek gently, whispering, "I love you too. You taught me how to breathe again." They released their lanterns together, two flames rising side by side into the dark sky. People around them cheered, but for Ayan and Eliah, the world felt quiet. She intertwined her fingers with his, feeling the warmth of his palm travel into her heart. Their futures no longer felt uncertain. They felt shared, steady, and full of promise. Life didn't suddenly become perfect. They still faced struggles, long workdays, old fears, and moments of doubt. But now they faced them together, strengthening their bond with every obstacle. Ayan supported her dreams of studying art, encouraging her with gentle reminders. Eliah pushed him to believe in his talents, telling him he deserved more than a small repair shop. They grew individually, but always toward each other. Ayan noticed. When Eliah's hands trembled, she noticed when his shoulders tensed with stress. Love, for them, wasn't a grand historias, it was knowing when to stay silent, when to let go. Whenever Eliah remembered her past, Ayan reminded her of her strength. Whenever Ayan doubted his worth, Eliah reminded him of his kindness. Together they created a home made of shared hopes and gentle moments. Their story wasn't about dramatic turns or sudden twists. It was about healing, patience, and two hearts choosing each other again and again.